What an afternoon in Baton Rouge.
And he's got a quarterback that he kind of brought with him from the Pac-12.
You've seen him in a Stanford uniform. Now you see him in the burgundy of Mississippi State. KJ Costello. Costello looks left, lobs it to the corner, a touchdown, 500 yards passing. Costello going to go long to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown.
3 touchdowns against LSU's defense on 3rd and long.
His debut in the SEC, nothing short of brilliant. 623 yards and 5 touchdowns. The Pirate and the air raid offense of Mississippi State has come to the SEC.
And did you know that LSU, well, you're about to, is the first defending national champ to lose its opener since Michigan? I said Michigan. I'm more surprised they won a national championship than they lost their opener. That was in 1998, and it was a half, wasn't it? Or was it? The Wolverines lost their first 2 games that season, but bounced back.
You know, the biggest thing is really just constant emphasis, and it starts in the weight room on Sunday. And everybody, the other teams have talked about it too. The 24-hour rule, let it go after 24 hours, and we officially, try to seal it up after our Sunday practice, and then constantly reinforce it, and then also try to get some of your team leaders to reinforce it with the rest of the group, but and just focus on the next task at hand, which is watching film for Arkansas and preparing our game plan for this week. I thought they were a pretty tenacious group. I thought that they moved around well. I thought they were aggressive. And they took they just flat out took a half away from Georgia, and I thought that was quite impressive. And then I felt like they played really hard. I think that they've got some speed out there. And then I think that, schematically that's, of course, worked in the past in this conference. And so I think it'll be a good challenge. I don't think, you always are working on something. You always keep progressing. We tell these guys, make the corrections we give you. We say, give me something else to coach. Because if you're coaching, if they don't make the correction, you're coaching the same thing. And so we say, give us something else to coach. And so there is that about it. No matter what happens, we'll continue to say, give us something else to coach, and we'll keep looking for ways to refine it. I think. As far as knowing the plays, there's a combination: knowing the plays, knowing the scheme, and then the other is becoming familiar with your personnel, which we're still working on that. We're still battling that, becoming familiar enough with your personnel, who's going to be where, when, and what's the timing of all that. And that was tough for us because we had to kind of search for who could do what, and because it was kind of being revealed to us as we went because we weren't here.
The comeback of the week, supplemented by Aflac. And it is KJ Costello, 36 of 60 for 623 yards, 5 touchdowns. State knocks off LSU 44-34. Costello's 623 broke Eric Zier's SEC record against Southern Miss in '93. The grad transfer from Stanford's previous high was 381.
Well, I think we have to be a lot better on special teams. Georgia dominated us on special teams. We couldn't get off holdups. We obviously gave up a blocked punt on something very simple that we should have. We worked on it, but it just didn't happen in the game. Just blocking, basically. You look at the offense. I think there's still too much indecisiveness about where to line up, I knew that we were going to struggle up front against Georgia's defensive line. I mean, going into the game, I didn't think we was going to be able to pound the ball at them. We got to play better up front. We have to play faster, physical up front on offense. We need to play more players on defense. I think we got tired. We played a lot of snaps in the first half, about the same in the second half. But special teams has to improve in a quick way, and we can fix that. And our offense just has to be more consistent, more urgency. To me, we were just off almost the entire game. Those things we can fix. Costello was incredible. I mean, could throw every throw, was very poised. Coach Leach, I mean, those guys did a great job of preparing that football team. Kylan Hill is the guy that offense runs around, and man, he is really, really exceptional football player. They're using him a little bit differently, not running him quite as much as he did last year. I anticipate him running him on Saturday, but he's catching the ball out of the backfield and doing a great job. But they've got a lot of receivers that can make plays, and KJ Costello had his career game. I mean, it was unbelievable, and for him to be a transfer and then come in and do what he did was really outstanding.
And our next guest will participate in the weekend with Arkansas and Mississippi State. Roy Pilfott joining us. Roy, it's been way too long. We hope you've had a good summer, as much as anyone can have a good summer in this current world. But I know you're looking forward to this game tomorrow. And how's it going? Good afternoon.
Winter when basketball came to a close. It was unbelievable. We sat there, Paul. We watched you all summer long. Me, my daughters, Anna Catherine, and Piper, and we couldn't believe it. We didn't think we were going to play college football, Paul, for a long time. And then we figured this thing out, and here we are in October. And look, we got a great game tomorrow in Stark Vegas. I think more people need to be talking about Mississippi State and the great job that Mike Leach has done just in one game. I mean, who knows with this thing? They may be trying to crash the college football playoff party by the time it's all said and done.
If they do, then that is quite a statement indeed. That would be quite a scene. Let's talk about this because there are not many doubters right now, but Mike Leach's resume has always had huge, big moments, huge wins and big moments. But there's always the hiccup along the way, primarily because of the defense. But let's just take it one step at a time. In your conversations, in your study of this game, I'm really curious about your view of the whole Mississippi State picture.
Well, I think what you said is accurate. You go back to his time at Texas Tech and Washington State, and there were always big wins along the way. And he always pulled off the upsets. You go back to the Michael Crabtree over Texas back in 2008, and at Washington State, they pulled off some miraculous wins there, running the air raid. And yet there was always just these random games where maybe they didn't show up as well. And that's been a big topic here in Starkville this week, is to make sure that, they're not too far ahead of themselves. But I'll tell you this, like talking to KJ Costello, who threw for those 623 yards, an SEC record last week in that road win at LSU, he's been interviewed by everybody on the planet. I mean, from Reggie Bush to Roy Philpott, he's been all over the place. And I actually asked him midweek, I was like, KJ, have you slept a lot this week? Because it doesn't look like you've really slept all that much. And he's like, no, I really haven't. So I think that's kind of indicative of what Mississippi State is going to be faced with this week. Paul is a heavy favorite. They're coming home off the biggest win, arguably, in school history against the defending national champions, where you throw for a bazillion yards. Can you do it again? And can you find a way maybe to make some adjustments with the air raid? With an Arkansas defense led by Barry Odom, who's probably going to do some things differently. Maybe he runs a little zone defense. Maybe he drops 8 back in coverage like Washington used to do facing Washington State back in the day. So there's going to be some obstacles to overcome and some hurdles to climb tomorrow. But it's going to be fascinating to watch to see if they can do it and kind of keep this train rolling in the right direction.
And that is an interesting point, Roy, because when you win a game like that, the hardest thing is to get ready for the next one. And I mean, with all due respect, everyone has seen Arkansas the last 2 seasons plus, and they've yet to win a conference game. It's almost, I mean, I'm sure you have it down. It's been almost 3 years ago. But do you get any sense that State is spending too much time talking and not enough time concentrating?
I think there's a little bit of that, and I think it's something they're going to have to overcome because, I mean, I don't know that, the exposure around these parts going back maybe to Dak Prescott and that brief stint at number 1, we just haven't seen it a lot. So for Mike Leach, game 1 and doing, everything that he does, we talked to him this week and we started talking about some of his favorite Netflix movies and how he wants to show Patton to the team at some point this year and how he's hesitant to show horror movies the night before a game because his players back in the day used to get scared. So, I mean, he's doing all of the Mike Leach stuff that we know and love, but at the end of the day, there's going to be a motivation factor that's going to come into play tomorrow, and I'm just curious to see if they just pick up right where they left off. And look, here's the other thing I'll say. The defense for Mississippi State, Paul, I thought played very well against LSU. 7 sacks, leads the country in that category, forced a couple of turnovers. Talking with Zach Arnett this week, he expects a little bit more. But I think that defense against Arkansas can do a little bit more than what it did against LSU. And, quietly they did a pretty good job last week. And we'll see if they're ready to make some noise and maybe carry the torch a little bit if the offense and the air raid comes out a little sluggish. But, at the end of the day, something tells me it probably won't. The air raid works in any league, at any level of football, on any planet, for crying out loud. And I expect it's probably going to find a way to work at some point tomorrow night.
Well, let's talk about the other side of this game because Arkansas did get some praise. They kept it close for a while. Georgia poured it on at the end. But is this team any better than what we've seen the last couple of years based on what you've seen and heard?
Felipe Franks brings an element, I think, to the Arkansas offense that has been missing. And there's some stability there that hasn't been there. I think they want to do some things to maybe get him outside of the pocket more and make him more of the true dual threat that he can be. I think this offense needs that. So, yeah, I mean, Paul, they're better, but is it good enough to win in the SEC West this year? And you mentioned it earlier. They've lost 20 games in a row now in conference play. My hunch is that comes to an end at some point this year. I don't know if it happens tomorrow night, but Sam Pittman, the head coach, knows what it takes to win there. Chad Morris, now the OC at Auburn, obviously, he did a good job recruiting, especially at some skill positions. And so a smattering of talent, still remains. We saw what Treylon Burks did last week against Georgia, where he caught that early touchdown and went for over 100 yards for the first time. And Rakeem Boyd, I think, will find the rushing lanes a bit more open, not facing Georgia's defense. And look, Georgia's defense, Auburn's going to be lucky to score 7 points tomorrow, as far as I'm concerned, with how stout Georgia's D is and what Bo Nix is going to have to face. They're going to do that to a lot of teams. So Arkansas, I think, by default, will find it a little bit easier because Mississippi State's D isn't Georgia's D. But, how much better can they be this year? I think marginally, and I do think they'll have a chance to end the conference losing streak because of what Pittman's trying to do and with Kendall Briles, his offensive play caller. There's pieces there, is what I'm trying to say. There's pieces, and now is it how quickly can they find a way to mesh all of that together and really make it work. And it's going to be interesting to watch that.
Already the SEC came back with a bang because one of the standout quarterback performances of this season was KJ Costello a week ago. Mississippi State, 623 yards and 5 touchdowns in the win a week ago over the reigning champs in LSU. How can you keep a performance like that and build on it?
Well, I don't know that you're really trying to keep or build on a performance like that. I mean, everything went super right for KJ. He had a great game. Leach called a great game. But let's look at Leach's history, right? He's always been, in Kentucky, at Texas Tech, when he was at Washington State, he's always been able to find a way to get a big win. But can they have consistency? That's the question mark for KJ, for Coach Leach, for this Mississippi State team. There were a lot of receivers that stepped up. Mitchell, Peyton, Hill as a running back. These are some fantastic playmakers right now. So the question mark is not can they put up a bunch of yards. They've always put up a bunch of yards. The question mark is that can they consistently play this way and get the W? Because, listen, when he was at Texas Tech, they upset Texas. When he was at Washington State, they upset Oregon. Shoot, with Tim Couch and the hefty lefty at Kentucky, they put up some big wins. But the question mark for Mississippi State and Coach Leach is consistency. Can they show up that week like they did last week and play over and over again? Because that's the question mark in the SEC.
Got it. Enjoy your nice little Saturday. Remember, you can always pick out new flooring on, say, like a Tuesday or something. SEC Nation coming your way, 10 a.m. Eastern, over on the SEC Network.
Arkansas, Mississippi State. I tell you what, Arkansas played a good half of football a week ago. They better put two halves together because Mississippi State, they're on fire. Man, they lit LSU up last week. Now, Mike Leach brings the air raid offense to the SEC, but he also brings a little personality too, guys. Watch this.
There's a lot of ghosts in this stadium, and you know, and you play. We played LSU because New England, Green Bay, and the Chiefs had somebody scheduled.
And without people at the games, Mike Leach still unsure how to handle that.
I just have to be honest. I haven't quite gotten the hang of the cutout people in the stands. I mean, that's an episode of Twilight Zone. That is a little surreal, the fake people in the stands.
Well, everybody this week's talking about Mike Leach and Mississippi State. Today they get Arkansas. A nice celebration. How do they handle prosperity? All the success, all the pats on the back. Last week, a lot of man-to-man from LSU. A lot of defensive coordinators, including Barry Odom, will change up the defense. I think it'll be tougher for this offense. Kylan Hill didn't run the ball as much, but boy, 8 for 158, catching the ball out of the backfield. Remember, Felipe Franks and Kendall Brow's offense has weapons. They can score and will today against that Mississippi State defense.
On the SEC Network, 7:30 Eastern Time, the Hogs have lost 20 straight SEC games. If they drop another one, it'll tie Rutgers for the longest active conference losing streak.
Yeah.
We've seen Mike Leach's teams sometimes not follow up. What do you think today?
Well, it's who they are. I think they'll continue doing what they do. That air raid offense isn't going anywhere. Now, will they struggle at times? Of course they will, because they play great defense in the SEC. When teams start to get more film and start to understand how they're attacking defenses, then they'll start to stop them. I'm impressed by Kylan Hill. He averaged 5 yards per carry. Didn't carry the ball a lot, but he also averaged 20 yards per catch. So I think that they will continue to play the way they will play, but obviously they will struggle because they play defense in the SEC.
Yeah, well, last week they didn't. Bo Pelini played a lot of man-to-man, and it was a story. And I think Mississippi State's offense, it is what it is. They have a great quarterback in KJ Costello, who came over from Stanford. David Shaw used to tell me all about this kid and his upside. So that's who's now running this air raid offense. So he's going to do what he does, but the thing that was going to be learned by every defensive coordinator, we're not playing man-to-man the way LSU did. So I wouldn't be shocked if it's more of a struggle. And people are just, this isn't LSU. This is not Mississippi State just going to roll out. Every week can be a challenge for them. And I think today could be a challenge for them against Arkansas.
And I think the most impressive part was they also turned the football over a lot in Mississippi State. But their defense, Zach Arnett comes in. They run a different system with a 3-3-5. Right. Can their defense continue this up? Because they pressured the heck out of LSU's quarterback. Miles Brennan didn't know where he's coming from.
Right.
7 sacks.
Feast or famine type of defense.
100%. So the defense, I think, the offense, they're going to spin the ball. We're first quarterback ever to throw over 600. Welcome to debut Mike Leach. But the defense will tell the tape. I think they can confuse you enough with that defense to keep you off balance. The D's got to play great week in and week out.
You know whose SEC record KJ Costello broke last week, right?
I do.
Ooh. You do?
Eric Zier.
Eric Zier.
Really?
Who, by the way,
can spin it around.
Yeah, you know that firsthand, don't you? Last game?
Yep.
I'm going with an underrated matchup. Mike Leach and this Mississippi State offense. We all saw what they did last week against LSU. But what about a much improved Arkansas defense and Barry Odom, who's got Arkansas looking a lot better on that side of the football?
Usually in this league with a new coach and a new quarterback and a new offense, you get better in week 2. If that's the case, then KJ Costello is going to throw for 1,000,000 yards, and it's bad news for Arkansas. This Mike Leach offense is going to be formidable. It's going to be a problem all year.
Let's take a look at the smoothest play brought to you by Velveeta. KJ Costello looked smooth in his first appearance for Mississippi State and Mike Leach's air raid offense. All he did was throw a school record 60 passes, finishing with 623 yards to shatter the SEC record by nearly 80 yards. And Costello, the first player in FBS history to throw for 600 or more yards against a reigning national champion. So Costello was able to beat LSU with both long and short passes during his record-setting performance. The Bulldogs gained over 60% of their yards after the catch. Now, State gained 20 or more yards on 15 of Costello's passes, but the most by any FBS quarterback in a game in the past 15 seasons. Tara Talmadge is in Starkville with more on this game.
First home game of the season for Mississippi State, and the Bulldogs are looking to put up 50 points on Arkansas for the third straight year. And you know what, guys, after that performance against LSU, with KJ Costello setting a new SEC record with 623 passing yards, I wouldn't be surprised. But Arkansas is under new leadership with Sam Pittman, and I actually had the chance to talk with offensive coordinator Kendall Briles, and he said they had 21 missed assignments in that game against Georgia last week. So they're definitely looking to clean things up because, as he said, this Arkansas team is just not good enough to make that many mistakes. So that's what we'll be looking for tonight when Mississippi State and Arkansas face off.
So, Jordan, I know that you're kind of a film junkie. You like to sit down and watch the tape. Watching the air raid had to be a whole lot of fun for you. When you saw what Mike Leach and Mississippi State did week 1, what got you excited?
I'm excited because it's so simple at its core. I mean, when you watch film, I challenge you right now, go back and watch that game, and before the snap, just circle where the biggest area of grass is. And that's where Mississippi State would attack. Look to the sideline, dial up a play that attacks the weakness, which is space. And that's what the air raid does, is it attacks space, it attacks grass, it gets guys running to open space. And it was unbelievable. I watched an interview by KJ Costello, and he said, look, I didn't know who the LSU defenders were. I didn't know what their coverages were. I was so busy in the week of preparation studying our scheme. And he said, we get intuition through repetition. We know our scheme so well that it doesn't matter the coverage. You have intuition about how to adjust your route, where to run to, because they've repped it a million times. He was telling a story about practice where there was a couple drop balls and Leach just stopped the entire practice. Said 500 receptions right now for every receiver. He is the definition of not doing something until you get it right, but doing something until you can't get it wrong. And that's what's dangerous about this scheme, is they play with tempo, they keep it simple, and they attack your weaknesses. So I look for Arkansas to say, hey, we got to play more zone. We got to keep things in front of us. We can't let what happened to LSU, which is guys just running to grass, running away from man coverage. That can't happen this week.
Yeah, Jordan, you're absolutely right. The air raid is about reps and execution, and they tore LSU apart. When it was man-to-man, their receivers won. They hit crossing routes or they hit fades all day long. When it was zone, he checked the ball down. But I agree with you. I think Barry Odom and this Arkansas defense is going to play very little man. When they do, they're going to pressure and try to get home. If not, I think they're going to try to keep everything in front of them, tackle, try to get tipped balls, try to make a pick or two. And the one thing that's hard about the air raid is when it's not going good, then all of a sudden your defense can get tired because of lack of physicality with your offense and controlling time of possession. I really believe Arkansas in this game has to focus on time of possession, keep their defense fresh, because when the air raid gets rolling, that's when it's really hard. But if you get a couple 3-and-outs early and you get the other team's defense a little tired, that's where you can have success.
Yeah, Tim, we saw a physical brand of football from this Arkansas team with Sam Pittman in week 1. And Roman, they took Georgia to the brink. What did you see from Arkansas that you think applies today against Mississippi State?
Well, I like Arkansas's ability to be able to, mess with your eyes. Kendall Briles' offense, they're going to do some razzle-dazzle. They're going to move guys around. And they have to focus on running the ball today. Rakeem Boyd has to be the best player on the field consistently. I love what Tim talked about right there, about blitzing the quarterback. The way you're going to affect this air raid offense is, yes, you don't run from the man-to-man coverage on the outside like Jordan said. Bump all that zone. You get up there and you jam and you press these receivers with outside leverage. And if we got somebody close to them, you communicate on the backside, and we're passing off crossers so nobody gets picked. And you go hit the quarterback. That is how you make quarterbacks be more inaccurate and messing with their feet, is you go hit them. If you make them uncomfortable, they all become human. We got 2 of them that are sitting on stage right here beside us, and they all know once you start getting hit, you all become a lot more human. Run the ball, play physical defense, and I think Arkansas gives themselves a great chance to win today.
Yeah, listen, it's a good plan there, Roman. Kind of hard to take Felipe Franks down. He's a big body with that arm that can certainly stretch a defense.
We played LSU because, New England, Green Bay, and the Chiefs had somebody scheduled. They call them Bulldogs for a reason. They're built for combat. I've always been able to install it fast. I don't think it'll be perfect within a week, but I think it'll be fairly sharp within 2 weeks. Looking for a bandwagon? Hop on.
I love it. All right, guys, let's make some picks for this Arkansas-Mississippi State game. Tim, as you try to recover from Mike Leach on his bandwagon there, who are you taking in this one?
I'm going Mississippi State. I think they get a win. I think Arkansas keeps it close for a little bit, but I think KJ and these receivers are too much.
What about you, Roman?
I'm with Tim. I'm going with the Pirate. I'm on the bandwagon. Put me in, Coach. I'm in.
Jordan.
I'm going Mississippi State. Look, you're supposed to get better in your second game, and Arkansas was one of the worst defenses in the country last year. I think they got a long way to go. Costello's going to throw for 800.
I love it. Hey, guys, full transparency here. I've lost audio, but I can see the screen and I'm reading your lips. It's time now for all season long with Extra Yard for Teachers. SEC Nation joining the College Football Playoff Foundation and recognizing this program. Here's Arkansas linebacker Grant Morgan on a special memory of his favorite teacher, Miss Joanne King, from Greenwood High School in Greenwood, Arkansas.
Miss King always makes science fun. She always led with passion. She loved her students. She always made sure everyone felt involved. She really helped me become a person who I am and just helped me be able to fall in love with what I do, and that's what led me to get a pre-med degree in kinesiology.
Backs won the coin toss and deferred in the second half. We'll get to see the air raid in short order here in Stark Vegas. Great to have you with us tonight. A great atmosphere. Everybody socially distanced, including us here in the booth, on a beautiful night for college football. Devontae Payton ushered out at the 26. On second down, Costello surveys, fires high, and it's going to be picked off. Intercepted by the Hogs. Going the other way for the touchdown, it's the Arkansas Razorbacks. Greg Brooks had it.
It was a zone defense, and there was a shallow crossing route coming from your right to the left, and Costello didn't see out in front of the crossing receiver, but threw a very poor pass to begin with. Brooks was just dropping into a zone.
Early on, 7-0 Arkansas. Fast start for the Hogs on the road. Clean pocket for Costello. And after the quick breakdown, Wally makes his second grab, short of first down yardage, however. And let's see if Mike Leach wants to go for it early. The answer was no. But he did talk shows all around the country. He talked with us for about half an hour. It was fantastic. Handling success, not always easy. Let's see how it unfolds as Shavers calls in the reception, stopped by Hayden Henry. 4 to play in a fast-moving first quarter. The first touchdown of the season for the senior from Nashville, Devontae Payton. As Rakeem Boyd motions right behind him out of the pistol. Quick toss into the boundary. And Boyd ushered out at the 30. A nice gain on first down for the Hogs. Empty backfield, Mitchell in motion. He'll fake the jet sweep action. And Costello was tripped up. And I think they're going to rule him down back in Mississippi State territory. That's going to count as a sack for Eric Gregory, who's replacing Julius Coates tonight.
And the question is the knee down? I actually don't think so. I think he got rid of this before the right thigh was on the ground.
10 back in Starkville, tied at 7. Kelly Stopper, Roy Philpott, Tara Talmadge. Hogs have it. Boyd slammed down hard, short of the first down. 5-man front for Mississippi State. Treylon Burks has it. Needed to get out to the 26, and I think he got there. Comes down to the spot, ushered out by Fred Peters for the Bulldogs.
I think it's going to be a favorable spot, and a really nice job by Burks.
Straight ahead goes Franks. Another first down for the Hogs. Franks ahead for positive yardage. More tempo. Franks play action. Wants it all. Has a man. Warren has it. Stopped inside the 10. It'll be first and goal for Arkansas. And Martin Emerson prevented the touchdown. The first big play of the night for the Hogs.
And Marcus Murphy, number 7, gets nosy on the play action pass. He's supposed to be as deep as the deepest in the middle of the field in the game, down in deep money ball time.
Three-man front for the Hogs. Bulldogs will run it again. Spun down as Marks right at the line of scrimmage. Tuning in, Kylan Hill went out on the first possession after he was hit hard on what appeared to be a fumble. Double coverage toss is incomplete. Wally, the intended target. On third down, Costello. Caught short of the line to gain. And that's going to bring up fourth down for the Bulldogs. Shavers again was stopped by Catalan on that play. Quick toss. Mike Woods has it. And a nifty move ahead to the 39. Straight ahead goes Franks. He'll pick up the first down, diving to the 35. Miles on this possession. We'll set up the screen. Trey Knox has a first down. Arkansas on the move, and a nifty move.
3 receivers and only 2 defenders.
Another pump fake for Franks towards the end zone for an easy touchdown. Devion Warren, his first score of the season, and number 10 in white has something to celebrate about.
And this is something that Kendall Browse learned from Lane Kiffin. It's the out and up off of that screen that they just ran the play before. It's the complementary play calling. And Lane Kiffin at Florida Atlantic taught that to Kendall Browse.
Empty backfield again on second down. The swing pass cut down hard and a loss of 3.
Great reaction up to the screen once again.
Timeout. Thank you very much. Back here in Stark Vegas. Buster Brown was assisted off the field moments ago after being banged up. That pass batted away by Bumper Poole at the last minute. And that'll bring up fourth down for Mississippi State.
Bumper Poole drops into a zone once again, and it's about getting your hand on the ball. Barry Odom told us that. Drop into your zone. Feel the guys.
Under 5 to play, and Arkansas playing with house money to start on the road. Quick toss. Warren has it, stays in bounds, and there he goes. Tiptoes all the way down inside the 35. Physical game so far. As Arkansas is going to end up Mississippi State trailing in its home opener to Arkansas. Costello out of the backfield. Upended. Hawks played well in the first half against Georgia last week, the number 4 team in the land. That pass swatted down by Bumper Poole. His second PBU tonight.
And Bumper Poole, first of all, is a terrific football man. And he has great instincts. Dropping to a zone allows the defenders to have their eyes on the quarterback. And then
You're expected to be here tonight. Watch the home debut of KJ Costello. Off the screen, Marks will pick up a couple. Stop at the 46. Greg Brooks, another tackle.
When you have to be patient, sometimes that doesn't work very well.
Costello flush. There's a flag. And delivers a pass that was picked off near the 36. Arkansas has it. That flag likely for holding.
Yeah, Darian Parker, number 56, the right guard, is going to get called for the hold.
Joe Fouché came up with the interception.
And I talked about impatience. This is kind of what it looks like. Trying to make a play when there isn't one there to make.
On the offense, number 56, that penalty is declined. The result of the play is an interception. First down, Arkansas.
Remember what KJ Costello told us this week, that one of the things that he's learning is when to say uncle. Well, that was a great time to say uncle. Throw that ball 4 rows deep and line up for another play.
Never. Saturday night in the SEC, your guess is as good as mine. Smith for the injured Rakeem Boyd has a first down and a gain of 11. Bulldogs, timeout to work with. The shovel pass upended. And the air raid has been grounded so far in our first 2 quarters here at Davis Wade Stadium.
Coach, your defense has done pretty well, a couple of picks. How do you feel about their performance so far?
I think they're playing great. I think Barry had a great game plan. The guys are executing it well. They're running, hitting, going the ball.
You've had a couple of big injuries on your side, but how do you make your offense more aggressive going into the second half?
I don't know. We'll find out about how we're doing injury-wise. We've got to convert. Goal line, we got to score. And lucky thing, our defense held us. We went back and scored the next time. But we're a little beat up. We'll see how we'll have to find out how we're doing here when it go in the half.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good start on the road for Sam Pittman, year number 1 in Fayetteville against the Pirate. And the Hogs lead it 14-7. Halftime report coming up right after this break.
I know it's going to be zone. Throttle down for your quarterback.
Warren off the motion set. Bottled up after a short gain. And tripped up crossing the 27. Dogs showing pressure. Here it comes. Franks off the back foot. Has a first down. A nice move by Mike Woods. Into plus territory. Tripped up crossing midfield by Martin Emerson.
When the ball comes out on time and the ball placement is good, you can have yards after the catch. And that's exactly what happens between Franks and Woods right there.
It's a gain of 21. More tempo. Pitch, catch, and another first down for Arkansas. Let's see where they spot it for Hudson Henry.
Draw max protection and take a shot downfield.
All night for Franks. Caught by Knox. Stopped at the 31. Frank said, let's try something different. Smith straight ahead. Rakeem Boyd still banged up. Nifty move and another first down for the Hogs. On second down, there's Smith, the dump off. Close to another Arkansas first down. Tripped up inside the 15. Just a gain of a yard on second down. Franks retreats. Wide open to the end zone for the touchdown. The tight end, Hudson Henry. And some kind of coverage bust in the Mississippi State secondary, and the Hogs are rolling tonight.
The lead receivers act like they're going to block for that now screen, and then you can see 82 Hudson Henry leaks into the corner of the end zone. Has some really good things going currently.
Big shocker a week ago in college football. Mississippi State over LSU by 10 in Baton Rouge tonight. Only 198 yards to show for it so far. Play action. Screen pass goes nowhere. Driven down, no gain on the play. And Schrader in motion. Costello. Johnson makes one man miss, upended at the 10. That was pulled. It'll bring up third down. Now Mike Leach fever taking over. Beautiful city of Starkville. His book, Swing Your Sword, came last week down at Death Valley. 10-point upset against the defending champs. The Pirate back in the SEC for the first time in more than 20 years. Offensive play caller for Hal Mumme back in Kentucky, the late 1990s, and now here in Start Vegas. They appreciate good football, and they like what he's done so far for this program. Is Felipe Franks, 15 of 20 through the air tonight, a $185 and 2 touchdowns. Feeling confident, he spots Trey Knox. Dives ahead close to a first down for the Hogs. They're going to give him the spot. 10 completions in a row for KJ Costello after a gain of 14. Delayed handoff. Dylan Johnson spun down. And he'll gain maybe a yard. The initial contact by Bumper, Poole, and Kelly. It's 13 tackles tonight for number 10 in white. It's an issue a week ago against the Bulldogs back in Fayetteville. Swing pass. Mitchell. Bottled up quickly ahead to the 40. That'll be a gain of 1 as Bumper Poole makes tackle number 14.
Costello was under pressure, but he bought as much time as he could. And where's my outlet? Where's my escape hatch? And that's exactly who he goes through on time.
Costello off play action, floats it, and it's going to be intercepted. Once again, Fouché, second pick of the night. Third interception for KJ Costello. That one enormous to start our fourth quarter.
Fouché would be the defender that's affected by that play action pass, and he simply wasn't. Number 7 continued to get depth. And as a quarterback, you have to feel that more than you see it. And you don't see a clean look, then that ball has to go out of bounds or it has to go elsewhere.
Peyton in motion. Across the middle. Heath has it. Retreats after having first down yardage, and I don't think he got there. Forward progress is going to be stopped at the 17-yard line. It was Grant Morgan and Greg Brooks that time. Back of Aaron Brule. Bulldogs in business. Knocking on the door of the red zone. Dylan Johnson. Spun down hard after a short game. Johnson tries to push the pile. I don't think he got there. Needed 2. He was driven backwards after a short gain. Costello to the air. Out in the flats, and it's incomplete. Gardner probably should have caught that one. The pass came in low and hot from KJ Costello. And the Hogs are going to get it back. Simple pitch and catch. Not there. 3 yards, 2nd and 8 for KJ Costello. Underneath, Johnson. Dylan Johnson's been active on the ground through the air. That's his 9th reception of the night. Plenty of time for Costello. End zone. Incomplete. Triple coverage was there.
Catalan and Blair go up and make a play on this ball. Peyton had it for a second, and then it was Blair that comes in and blows up the catch pocket. That ball was destined to come down by Peyton in the end zone, and Blair blew it up.
Marks straight ahead. Met with resistance. Down he goes. He's going to lose a couple of yards. And the Hogs defense stands tall. Jonathan Marshall. And this one hurts Mississippi State on 4th down. Hogs will get it back, leading by a touchdown on the road. Out of the pistol. Quick snap, bottled up. I don't think so. I don't think so. They did not get it. It'll bring up 4th down, 3 and out for the Hogs. And the Bulldogs find a way on defense once again.
Unbelievable. Snap it 5 yards deep to gain a couple of inches. Absolutely no push. In fact, the offensive line of scrimmage was relocated about a yard back. But the other thing I don't like is a quick count when offensive linemen haven't really identified their landmarks yet when it's 3rd and inches. I think that's double jeopardy on that play call.
Kobe Jones with penetration, along with Crumity. And a fair catch called for, and not made on the punt. Did Mississippi State jump back on it? They did not.
But there are also ways that losing streak is broken. And Wally coughs it up, fair catching the football.
Bulldogs with 1 timeout left. Arkansas needs 8 yards here. Smith is open in the flats instead. Down the field for a first down is Devion Warren. The drive continues, and Warren has torched Mississippi State all night.
The best thing that Felipe Franks does is throw on the run. There's a running back, Smith, going to the flat, and then Warren is that second level that has to work his way.
Checks in. Costello. Try to lateral this one. And it will not happen. The Hogs find a way on the road. The losing streak is over, and what a win for Sam Pittman. 21-14 the final score. First win in the Southeastern Conference in almost 3 years.
We talked about the fact that one of the keys was Felipe Franks had to be a terrific decision maker, and he was that all night. And KJ Costello was going to have to prove that he could be patient, and he was rarely that this evening.
So the story last week was Mississippi State beating LSU. The story on this Saturday was Arkansas comes in having lost 20 consecutive SEC games. Felipe Franks, Hudson Henry, touchdown.
Real efficient day for the Florida transfer quarterback, 20 of 28 with 2 touchdown passes.
Woo Pig up 21-7. Then Dylan Johnson 6 yards out. Mississippi State makes it a one-possession game. Trails 21-14 late in the fourth. Mississippi State 4th and 1. Jaquavius Marks stopped.
Mississippi State only ran the ball for 87 yards in this game. When they needed it big late, they didn't get it.
So Arkansas forced a punt to Jaden Walley, calls a fair catch, but watch this.
Nope. Arkansas recovers. KJ Costello, after throwing for 623 yards last week, 3 picks in this one.
Unbelievable story. Arkansas gets an SEC win.
One thing that we trying to get them to do is believe they can win. And obviously, we played a half against Georgia and then a full game here tonight. And it feels pretty good.
Well, coming into this game, you talked about how this team needs to see that toughness on tape before they can believe it. You think they believe it now?
I think they believe it.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Hey, go Hogs. Razorback Nation, baby.
The best part of the program, helmet sticker ceremony time.
Joe Fouché, 2 interceptions as Arkansas snaps a 20-game SEC losing streak.
Good goal, Sammy. Good for you. Good win.
Mississippi State, of course, coming off the great win at LSU, hosting Arkansas, who was leading Georgia at the break last week, but then got blown out in the second half. Razorbacks have not won a conference game in 3 years, okay? 20 consecutive losses. KJ Costello, couple of picks last week against LSU. Early first, state ball. Costello picked up Greg Brooks Jr., 69 yards, and Woo Pig.
It's not a big deal. They threw a pick 6 last week. They overcame it. They'll overcome it again tonight.
Well, Arkansas did a great job of just reading the quarterback's eyes and just literally stepping in front of it. I mean, it's that simple.
Look, that was a bad pass. Now we'll show you a great pass from KJ Costello, showing us that touch just over the defender's hands and into the hands of Javonte Payton. Touchdown.
Yeah, that was probably the only place he could have put that ball over 2 or 3 defenders.
Get Payton's length.
Yeah, but when you sit there with 6'5", 6'6" receivers, this is what you're able to do. Watch him go up and grab this ball.
Yeah, tremendous throw, like you said, over the outstretched arm of the defender there. Nice job by Payton pulling it in.
Second quarter, Felipe Franks. Pump fake short. Finds Davion Warren, 19 yards. Well, nobody's. I was closer than the
when you're shrugging your shoulders,
when the palms of the DBs go up, like, huh? What was that? That was a great call on the screen and go. I love the call in the red zone.
Franks.
They ran it again.
Hudson Henry.
Another palms up. Saw some more palms. Like, whose guy's that?
Now, Mississippi State lost tailback Kylan Hill. First quarter early, took a shot, left the game. So they did not have his services. Dylan Johnson, 6-yard touchdown, makes it a 7-point Razorback lead.
4th and 1, they got that one.
Yep. Fourth quarter.
Set them up for failure.
Arkansas to punt. Jaden Walley calls for the fair catch.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. You're not allowed to hit him. The ball did. Fumble. Arkansas recovers.
Saw it similar last week in the South Carolina-Tennessee game, right?
Right.
Chance for South Carolina.
Pin it. Yeah. Thought I learned something that day. Mississippi State ball back. 4 seconds left. Last chance. Javonte Payton. You got to get rid of the football here, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're doing.
No.
Trying to build up stats.
What you're doing is you're losing to the Razorbacks, letting them get a conference win for the first time in 21 games. Congrats, Coach.
I'm just so happy. You know, we hired a good coaching staff. I told the players we got everybody we need on this plane, everybody. And we had a lot of injuries, and they just kept fighting through, and our defense made a big stop here at the end. And we got really good coaching staffs there, and I'm really proud of them and the football team and the kids. You know, the one thing that we trying to get them to do is believe they can win. And obviously, we played a half against Georgia and then a full game here tonight. And it feels pretty good.
Again, 20 straight conference games they had lost, and that streak is gone. Their last conference win also in the state of Mississippi 3 years ago at Ole Miss. They'd also lost 15 straight to AP-ranked teams. That streak is gone as well as they knock off number 16, Mississippi State. I know coaches hate hearing the phrase change a culture, but I threw it out earlier. I'm going to do it again. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's culture. It's a mentality, right, that we see with Sam Pittman and his staff.
There's no question. The mentality starts with defense, and it starts with what Barry Odom has done 2 weeks in a row now. And, Roman, you can appreciate this as a secondary guy. When you let your defense line up, get their cleats in the ground, and play technique and run to the football, this game is not hard on defense. It's about hit and run. See the ball, run to the ball, and hit the ball. And today you saw that. He said, you know what? I'm not going to guru up defenses. I'm going to do what we do, and I'm going to let my guys play fast. You saw picks. You saw pick sixes. You saw them be violent, hitting the football. And that is going to change the culture at Arkansas.
Well, the numbers were similar tonight in terms of pass attempts. Last week for Costello, 60 passes, 623 yards. Tonight, threw 59 times, Roman, but only 313 yards allowed. What that told me is Arkansas's defense did a good job of keeping receivers in front of them. I think, 363 yards after the catch last week for against LSU for those Mississippi State receivers. So they did a nice job of allowing them to catch the football, coming up and making solid tackles. And I thought they had a great plan today. Didn't play as much man defense as they did last week, as LSU did last week against them. Played a lot of zone, allowed the defenders to keep their eye on the quarterback.
Yeah, well, that's what they say, like Chiz was mentioning, was that you want to make them throw the ball in front of you, and then we'll see how tough they are. Because they're not going to run for you. These receivers, they don't want to get hit. Everybody knows that. So that's what you want to do. You want to make them throw it in front of you, and then we'll see how tough they are. And they see if they can do that for 4 quarters. Offensive coordinators do not design plays to go to 5 yards. They don't do that. They design it to show you something at 5 yards, to throw it over the top of you for 10, 15, 20 yards. That is how offenses are built. And Arkansas did a great job of keeping everything in front of them and seeing how tough they are.
Quantify your point. He completed more passes in this game, but for 310 fewer yards than he completed through 4 against LSU. Congrats, Sam Pittman and Arkansas.